What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and in today's video we're taking a look at the start of Season 11, and you might be thinking, what do you mean the start? The season started 2 whole weeks ago, but not your start of the season, friends, my start, because I have only just done my first matches of Season 11 in Go Battle League this time around. I've missed the first couple of weeks entirely. I've had a very hectic couple of weeks on myself, but I'm ready to hit the ground running, get some content out for you guys, and start building some teams and starting that grind to legend rank as well, since we can now climb to legend rank again in this season. So, since it's the first few ranks of battles, I figured I'll have a bit of fun with it. The Fossil Cup has just started, and I thought, why not give it a go with some Auto Rekt battles? And if you guys don't know what Auto Rekt battling is, it's where you delete all of your battle parties for a particular league, so you delete all your Great League teams for the Fossil Cup, and then when you go to start a matchup in the Fossil Cup, it will give you a random team of 3 Pokemon that qualify for the Cup, and you just have to use that team and try and make it work. It's a really fun format, and honestly a lot of people have their own little rules and spins on Auto Rekt on how they approach it to make it more fun for them and to add a bit more tactics and thought to it, but I wanted to just do this absolutely raw. I don't mess with the team whatsoever, I don't swap out any Pokemon. The ones it picks are the ones that I go in with, and this can create some absolute chaos. You can try some Pokemon that you've never thought about playing before. It can give you some really unique matchups, and it can help you practice, in some sense, at adapting on the spot to high pressure situations depending on what your opponent's got, what you've got, and having to think fast about typings, even if you don't know what move the Pokemon has. So for example, I won't know what moves the 3 Pokemon that the game picks for me has until I'm in the battle, and in some situations that can really mess you up. If you're expecting a Pokemon in your team to have a certain fast move and it doesn't, it has a different one, it can make a lot of mess. For example, in this matchup here, the game auto picked a Metang for me on the team, and I assumed it would have Metal Claw, so I brought it in against this Cradily expecting it to have super effective fast move pressure, but it doesn't. It has Zen Headbutt and Psychic, so it doesn't actually have any steel pressure damage output, and Zen Headbutt is probably one of the worst fast moves in the game in general. So even in this super dominant matchup for Metang, it is really going to struggle to take this thing down just because I didn't know what move it was going to have. After this matchup, I did actually fast TM this particular Metang to Metal Claw in case it got picked again, because honestly I've got hundreds of TMs to burn, and I thought, well, if it does pick Metang again, I want it to at least have a move that might give it a bit of a stronger fighting chance. Not only that, but this Blastoise is running Bite instead of Water Gun, which again could completely change matchups that might otherwise be very positive matchups for Blastoise. So you've really got to think on the spot and adapt in the moment the best you can. It's not recommended to do this if you're trying to climb the rankings, but it can be a lot of fun if you're willing to take it easy and don't mind losing some extra matchups as well. One of the biggest issues I've found when doing this is that it creates quite unbalanced teams. So right now it's created a triple water team for game number 3, which is very dangerous to have a team comprising of 3 of the same type, especially when a cup where there are electric types allowed. Magnezone, Magneton, a Lantern would all absolutely devastate this line. So you got to hope you get lucky a little bit if you see a lineup like this and you're willing to commit into actually running it. But like I say, it's all for fun. Doesn't matter if we did run into a Lantern and get absolutely swept through. It'd be good fun. I would have a laugh at how cruel the game had chosen to be at my expense at that point. If you guys are wanting to see a strong hard meta line designed for actually climbing the rankings and doing very well in the cup overall, I have been messing around with a strong team today, which is very good performance, and I'll probably be bringing you guys that next day or so. So if you're not subscribed to the channel already, consider hitting that button, become an absolute legend. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for the support. Seriously guys, it does mean the world to me. For those of you wondering where I've been since the start of the season, for the last week at least, I've been over at Download Music Festival in Donington. If you guys don't know, it's a music festival that takes place every year. Rock and metal oriented music festival. Headliners this year were Kiss, Iron Maiden and Biffy Clyro. It was Kiss's last ever show in the UK, although they have said that many times before. This might be their like 4th farewell tour globally, so I guess we'll just have to see what happens there. But absolutely great weekend. Weather was fantastic, which is very rare for Download Festival in the UK in general, so got absolutely sunburnt to hell, but had a fantastic time overall. Let me know if you guys were there. Let me know what if you guys were there and the favourite bands of the weekend. Let me know, I'd love to hear from you. Also, if these battles seem like they're running a little bit faster than usual, I am currently showing these at double speed rather than the 1.6 times speed that I usually use for talking over matchups and explaining gameplay and things like that. If it seems a little bit too fast, let me know and I'll try and bring them down slower in general for future videos. I'm just having a bit of an experiment, and I figured since I've got quite a few matchups to bring you guys today, I'd go at a higher speed. But if it is too much, let me know. In this matchup again, we've got another triple water team. We had Blastoise, Celio, and Relicanth, which means that this Poliwrath this opponent's running on the lead is an absolute core breaker for the full team. It's even running Rock Smash as a fast move rather than Mud Shot, so it's absolutely annihilating the full team. He's probably going to run through the entire line, actually. There's not much I can do here, to be honest, unless we can Water Gun down first. We can Relicanth down a shield, sweep the rest of the game? It is not likely, but he's going to give it the old college try. I'm surprised this Relicanth's even built for Great League. I forgot I actually built this thing, and I haven't actually had a chance to use it. It's a fairly decent ranked one as well, if I remember rightly. Honestly, Relicanth used to be a very interesting pick for the Great League in general, but then since the Ancient Power nerf, it has just not been up to as much scratch because the rock damage pressure just isn't that high at all. Alright, jumping into the next matchup, and this team actually looks like it's built for Go Battle League. We've got Ferrothorn, we've got Empoleon, and we've got Aerodactyl. Now, Aerodactyl might not have the most play in this meta, especially if it gets caught against a water type, but it does have some play against some of the more niche picks. But this opponent actually he had a Vaporeon on the lead, fantastic for the full line really, but they've got Magneton on the Say Swap, which is quite difficult for this line to deal with. We decided to land the Thunder for big damage, and swap to the Empoleon and get the fast move down just to get rid of them. And now we can put some serious pressure on this Durant, which is deciding to come in. This is a Metal Claw Durant, which means Empoleon is double resisting those fast moves, so they're really going to struggle to put much work in here. So we're probably going to be very much in control of this game, because honestly this is a solid lineup that the game actually chose for this particular matchup. Empoleon's very decent in terms of typing and damage pressure output. Ferrothorn's a great choice overall for the Fossil Cup, having that grass typing which is fairly unique in this meta without having to use something like Cradily. And then of course Aerodactyl's just massive fast move pressure, but we didn't even need to use it because we just got such fortunate alignment in that game. So let's just speed through these rank 1 rewards, jump straight into the next matchup and see what we get. The Metang is back, so we're happy that we TM'd that Zen Headbutt over to Metal Claw. I believe I left the charge move as just being Psychic, though I'm not going to pay to double move this thing. It is a 100% IV Metang that I've got here, but honestly I already have 3 or 4 100% IV Metagross that are all built, so unless we get another opportunity to evolve Meteor Mash, I'm not in a desperate rush to evolve this thing, so I guess it's going to live at Great League CP. And it's managing to put some respectable work in, doing some decent damage to the Dewgong, and now going to put... Ooh, that hit the Scizor for pretty solid damage for a resisted move. Now we can bring in a Azumarill and probably bubble down entirely. I wasn't sure if this was an Azumarill that knew Play Rough or not. Unfortunately it doesn't, so we're not going to be as threatening to that Dewgong if it does come back in. But we are going to have a nice amount of energy to do some big damage potentially with the Hydro Pump. And I reckon this is going to be close, but Azumarill should be able to handle this thing unless the Dewgong's got a very big charge move here. Really depends what they throw. Was it going to throw at us? Blizzard, good lord. That doesn't quite take out the bulky Azumarill. We're going to get this Hydro Pump off. Do we get the shield? We do. That's great. We're going to come in with Slowbro, farm down, get some energy, see what we can do. And the opponent's got a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. And this Slowbro, this Shadow Slowbro, that I think I used in like my 3rd video on YouTube ever. I believe I built it for the Love Cup back in early 2021. Yeah, it must have been. But we have to catch so that this Stunfisk doesn't run through us. We need them to waste a Rock Slide's worth of energy so we can get to a Psychic to take them out. We're able to pull it off, and this is going to be a very clutch GG to the opponent. And I know I haven't said it up to this point in this video, but of course, good game to all the opponents that I played in this video and in general. Alright, next matchup, what has the game nominated for us? Genesect, Azumarill, and Alolan Sandslash. This is a pretty unbalanced team. Something fiery on the lead would be obviously be terrible for us, or something fighting even would be terrible for us on the lead. And we only have Hyper Beam on this Genesect, so that's even worse. We do not have any spammable charge moves, so it's going to take us absolutely ages to get to this Hyper Beam, but this will annihilate the opposing Seismitoad to let it through. They don't, that's completely fine. We're happy to take the shield advantage, I believe, here, and probably bring in Azumarill and just start bubbling down, and hopefully what they've got in the back can't handle Azumarill and Sandslash, although I don't think this Sandslash is actually double moved and built for the Great League. I believe it's a 100% IV allowing Sandslash from the community day, so it's probably got Shadow Claw, but I'm really not sure what a fast move it's going to be running. It turns out it's actually got Ice Punch, which is probably the best case scenario because it's nice and spammy, but we swapped straight out of Azumarill to clear an attack debuff from the Muddy Water, but they brought in a Lucario. Why would we swap in a Alolan Sandslash to that? We swapped in way too quick in that situation, and it's allowed this Lucario to build up so much energy. They can really heavily threaten us with a Shadow Ball. We call a Power Up Punch bait, which is absolutely clutch for us. But now there's a Gyarados as well in the back. Azumarill alone, even with a shield advantage, is probably not quite going to be able to carry us to victory here. Maybe if we had the Ice Beam to get it off a little bit sooner. We got to shield this up, but we are going to need to get to a play rough against the Lucario as well. We're getting low. Lucario's spammy, it's got fairly high attack stat. They're probably going to take us out here and take the win. Yeah, very close though. GG to the opponent. If we'd have stayed in with Azumarill against Lucario, I believe we probably would have won that game. So always think, if you've got a debuff and you think I need to clear this debuff, sometimes it's just best to not and deal with the matchup, because even a debuffed Azumarill can handle Lucario fairly well. Alright, in this matchup it looks like that the Excadrill has actually been marked up as being PvP IVs, but I haven't actually double moved it or built it, because if I find a Pokemon in my storage that I know is good PvP IVs, I will mark it up, I'll name it, so I know that that's why I'm keeping it and I hang on to it even if I'm not building it yet and investing the Stardust and candies, because obviously Stardust is such a limited resource. And we actually pull a really solid lead with Jirachi against the Excadrill, which lets us put a lot of pressure on. We swap out to Lapras so we can throw a Rock Slide for big damage and swap out to Empoleon just to waterfall down entirely. I do believe that this is a non-optimized team the opponent's running as well, because that Lapras is a little bit of an odd moveset, running the Hydro Pump and the Water Gun, but still, people run what they want to run, and like I said, they could be doing Auto Rekt just like we are. They've got an Aerodactyl in the back. This is going to one-shot. This Rock Slide is going to absolutely annihilate poor Aerodactyl. Bang! Get out of there. We're going to take that win. GG. Nice, quick matchup there. Jumping straight on into the next one, and this team is not looking particularly well balanced. It looks like all three Pokemon are weak to fighting type damage, and when there's Lucario and Poliwrath, as well as the evolved form of Binacle, which I forget what its actual name is, has access to Cross Chop. So there are a few options that could absolutely run through this team very, very quickly. So at least this Pokemon actually built for PvP. Well, the Celio's not, but Melmetal and the Sandslash in this game are actually double moved and optimized for the Great League at least. That Melmetal hits like an absolute truck. I believe it's an under CP Lapras though, because it's got the bow, and that Rock Slide hits a little bit harder than I think it normally would. So it's probably just not quite powered up to 1500 CP, or definitely not optimized IV wise. Tentacruel comes back in and we're double resisting the fast move, so they have to try and get to a hard hitting charge move to take us out. We're just going to throw a couple of Rock Slides. We're left with a Lantern in the back. Like I said, Lantern again, probably a solid shout overall for this cup. We actually choose to throw a Superpower and dip out, and that's because Superpower is slightly less energy and hits slightly harder than Rock Slide when both moves are neutral. So we figured we've got switch advantage, we've got so many Pokemon left on the team, so we're just going to throw the Superpower, swap out, clear the debuff, and then be able to throw another one later on in the game if we need to. But have you seen this massive lag spike? This has happened to me a few times now, where just in the middle of the game freezes. I thought about trying to quit. I was like, no, I'll just wait and see what happens. And then suddenly the game kicks back in. And this is at double speed. You saw how long that pause was. And it came back in, the opponent chose to surrender. I don't know if they thought that they were lagging and I wasn't. But honestly, I couldn't do anything there. Either just sat there not getting any damage, any energy, thinking that they probably were, because that's often what happens in Go Battle League. If you're lagging, there's a good chance the opponent isn't. GG's to the opponent all the same. Sorry we didn't get to play that game out to the finale of it. It was probably done in my favour anyway, with the Lantern and me having 2.5 Pokemon still left alive, but GG all the same. Next game, and we've actually got a team that might actually function as a team, as it is just like this, because we've got Mawile on the lead, which has a very interesting role in the Fossil Cup overall. Does some good work against the Lucario, did good work against the Seadra. We've got Wing Attack Mantine in the back, and Mantine's a solid shout in this meta in general. It's not as strong as some of the other water types, but I think with Wing Attack it's got some nice unique coverage. We once again get another monstrously big lag spike here, and again, as I said, this is double speed, and I'm tapping around unable to do anything. I think I again consider quitting the game, but I press no, I decide not to actually quit out, see what happens, and look at that. It catches up, a bunch of water guns come through, a bunch of wing attacks come through, but it is enough to knock out the Seadra, so the opponent loses all that energy, all that potential to throw moves at me. I come out of this with a load of energy that I would probably have had to throw at the Seadra otherwise to take them out, so it's a massive unfair advantage to me. They've got a barrel in the back, which probably might have struggled. What have I got in the back on this team? Warren. Maybe there would have still been some play left in this game, to be honest, but Barrel can do reasonably well against Warren. So probably would have been a close game, and you can just see that the lag has absolutely screwed the opponent over here, so I just decided to wing attack down and just finish off the match there. GG's. And it is a little bit insane that these massive weird lag spikes are still happening in Go Battle League when they're supposed to have been fixing this thing. That was the last season, that's what it was for. They said they wanted to keep the game roughly the same, moveset wise, ready for the start of the World Championship Series, but also that they wanted to take time to work on and fix the game so that it works better. So why is it still exactly the same? Why is it still broken? I don't know, and I hoped that they would crack on and get something done, and I hear that there are things in the works and that there is a whole new model of Go Battle League apparently built in the game that they haven't switched on yet, so hopefully when that does come around it'll be much better. But honestly, I'm not sure with Niantic. It always makes me a little bit skeptical, but I don't mean to be a downer. Let's jump into more battles because we've all got to deal with this anyway. Sometimes the lag giveth and sometimes the lag doth taketh away. Now we've got a Sudowoodo in the back on this line. Sudowoodo is a very interesting pick because it's a rock type but has access to counter, and I believe rock slide, so it's got very unique coverage. But honestly, we're going to be able to put a lot of pressure on here with the superpower. Bang, hits like a truck. We get to the second one and we're going to be able to take them out and take this win. GG to the opponent. Speaking of Melmetal, the Pokemon trading card game crossover event is currently on, and I do recommend you try and get yourselves some good Melmetals for the Great League, the Ultra League, and obviously try and get that hundo for the Master League, because Melmetal is just a very strong Pokemon, has a little bit of unique coverage in the metas that it's allowed in. In general, it's a very strong pick, and Meltan can currently be shiny for the next 2 weeks, so they switch it on only for particular events, and I believe you can open the boxes more frequently than usual as well. And obviously don't forget, if you don't have a Nintendo Switch and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, to actually activate that box you can do it through Pokemon Home as well. If you move Pokemon over there, it'll reactivate your Meltan box so you can get some more Meltan candies. Plus, Melmetal has a very nice position in this meta in general. It's got Thundershock as a fast move, and there's so many water types that is a nice, decent amount of pressure there. The Rock Slide is great for any flyers, and Ice and Steel types that are allowed in this, sorry, not Ice, Rock and Steel types are allowed in this meta are both weak to the fighting superpower. So you've got a lot of play with Melmetal in general, so it is a pick that I would recommend you give a go. Now we've got Crustle, which is going to maybe be able to hold its own against this Skarmory. Just maybe. We've got a shield left here. Is this worth a shield, or do we let it go? No. Shield at the Sky Attack, and we should make it to this Rock Slide. We could probably have just thrown the X's, but it would have been double resisted. It seems like the safer bet. Throw the Rock Slide, take him out, take the win. GG. Also guys, don't forget to let me know what you guys are running in the Fossil Cup. Let me know if there's any super interesting picks that you've tried out that have got really strong play, stronger than you would expect or anything like that. And I'll obviously try and respond to comments as and when I can. In this matchup, we've actually got a Metang on the opposing team. We swap out into our Floatzel, and it seems the opponent gets a monstrous lag spike there because we're just able to waterfall down entirely, and now we've got a boatload of energy to throw at this Suicune that the opponent actually brings in. And Swift isn't the best charge move, but also when you've got two to spam at a legendary, which often are a little bit squishy, in the lower leagues, it's going to put a lot of pressure on. So as you can see, the lag in these servers is still absolutely abysmal because it really cost the opponent super heavily. Maybe they were trying to swap out the Metang, maybe they had something quite tough to punish the Floatzel with. Who knows? It's just really tough to see because you want to have fun with these games and you want to kind of give it a go and throw some spicy Pokemon in with the Auto Rekt, and it can feel like it's cheap that if you do manage to get a win because the game was lagging the opponent out a little bit. But they're going to give it a solid college try. They're staying in. They've got Skarmory in the back, which will have good play against the back of our team. The waterfall damage from Alomomola is going to start adding up. They throw a Flash Cannon though, which really is not the move that you want to throw. You definitely want to throw Sky Attack, Brave Bird. Anything that's not Flash Cannon that Skarmory has is definitely the charge move that you want to throw. It's going to give us much more chance to get more damage off. We'll let the Alomomola go down, bring in the Lapras, and we should be able to mop up this game because we've still got a 2 shield advantage. The opponent surrenders, and that's going to be a GG. Next one, and we've got Mawile, Galarian, Stunfisk, and Relicanth, but not the Relicanth that is built for the Great League. This is just a random Relicanth in my storage, so this is probably not going to go very well at all. But a Walrein on the lead actually isn't all that bad. They will threaten us with an Earthquake, and it will one-shot us if they get it through. But we are resisting the Powder Snows, we'll be resisting the Icicle Spears. We built up a lot of energy. This is worth a shield. It is the Earthquake. That's absolutely fantastic. It's worth giving up a shield to start grinding out some of this damage. We can let this go because we know it's an Icicle Spear. They did not throw enough Powder Snows to be an Earthquake again. Or if they did and I'm miscounting, then it was just a lucky call. But we're going to take them out, take the switch advantage, and just make it to this power-up punch before Blastoise is able to farm us down. We get a shield, we do. That's very nice to get that shield back because that power-up punch would not have hit particularly hard. But also this Blastoise is really bad news for us because we've got Galarian Stunfisk left, which those Water Guns are going to be hitting us for super effective damage. And honestly, their Water Guns are neutral against our Relicanth because we're part Rock type. So we're just going to keep chipping away, hope for the best. I think at this point the Blastoise is low enough to actually save the shield, farm down with Stunfisk, and just hope that with an energy advantage it can wipe out whatever's left in the back. And they've got a Magneton. Absolutely clutch for Stunfisk. There's nothing that this Magneton can do at this point. We're almost at another Earthquake already, and this is going to absolutely one-shot this poor Magneton. It resists. You resist all the charge moves from Magneton as well, so even if we didn't have the shield, we would still be able to take that win. Good game. Honestly, when I saw the Blastoise on the opposing team, I really thought that I was screwed in that game, so very happy being able to pull that back and take the win. Next team the game picked actually had a 100% IV Swampert on it rather than the actual Great League Swampert that I have built, which is not ideal at all. We get Probopass on the lead. Probopass is a very unique pick again, having access to electric moves, but it is a rock and steel type, so it's double weak to any fighting types that are floating around in here, and it's also weak to the water types, so it does have a lot to watch out for. Now, Kingler is a reasonable choice in general. I don't think it has a brilliant coverage move though, which I think is its biggest drawback. It does have access to Crab Hammer, which is a great charge move. Hits Skarmory like an absolute truck. Now I'm going to swap out to Octillery and hopefully get to an Octazooka pretty quick to get that last shield or take them out. So this is again a pretty unique team. Swampert, Octillery, and Kingler. We got the triple water factor again, but at least we got Swampert to be resisting any electric damage that might come in to mess with us. I'm going to bring in Swampert here and start getting... Well, we wanted to get ahead on energy, but since they didn't throw, I might as well throw the Muddy Water straight away, take them out. As you can see again, it's a single move Swampert, which it does not... Muddy Water, don't get me wrong, it's a nice spammy move, but it is not the move you want on your Swampert. You want Hydro Cannon, you want Surf, you want Earthquake or Sludge Wave, and they've got a Bastiodon in the back, so we decide to swap to catch a move on Kingler because we need the Swampert just to keep chipping away with these Muddy Waters, and we're worried about how hard a Stone Edge or a Flamethrower will hit as well as these Smackdowns before we can take them out. But honestly, we'd have been fine without the catch, but it was nice to make it all the same. For the practice, GG to the opponent, a 5-0 set there, which is kind of crazy with Auto Rekt, but we did get lucky with some lag and with some lineups there. If you guys do want to consider giving Auto Rekt a go, I do recommend it for a good bit of fun. It can be a little bit punishing, like I said, especially if you're trying to climb the ratings and get like to higher ranks when people are using quite try-hard and meta lines it can really not go well for you. But in limited metas like these as well, it can be a lot of fun, especially if you're not feeling much pressure for grinding out those wins. Plus, sometimes it'll bring something up in your storage and you can be like, why the hell have I still got that Pokemon? Why do I still have a 1350 CP random Lapras that has no legacy moves or anything like that? Might as well just get rid of that thing. Or at least, like, do something with it, you know? Maybe kept it because of its IVs, but you haven't actually got around to building it yet. Maybe you should build it, you know? Or even trade it to a friend and see if they can use it. I know I need to clear out some of these Relicanth that I've been hanging on to in my storage, and as we've seen, a couple of them have come up in these battles. One of them is actually built for Great League, but it's also brought up Relicanth that aren't built for Great League, so maybe I should consider seeing if anyone in my community needs a Relicanth, or whether I should just get rid of them at this point, since there has been a couple of events where it's been available at this point. But seriously, let me know what you guys think of the Fossil Cup so far. What Pokemon are you running in it? Or maybe you're running the Open Master League instead, and if so, let me know how that's going for you. Is it still full of level 50? Well, of course, it's already been full of level 50 legendaries, so now they'll be even more slowly filling it up, which I'm honestly not eager to be level 50 in any legendary Pokemon, so I'm getting less and less likely as time goes on to even do any Open Master League content, because it's just so tough and inaccessible. I'm not willing to grind like 80, 90, 100 raids of a legendary Pokemon to get the 300 XL candy to max one out to level 50. It's just expensive, and it's honestly not something I can afford to do. If you can, more power to you, and if you enjoy the Open Master League, let me know what you like about it so much compared to other cups. Or maybe you just hate the Fossil Cup, and that's completely fine too, each to their own. There is a reason we get 2 cups at a time in Go Battle League, to keep it interesting and keep you something to choose from if you don't like a particular meta or a particular kind of CP limit to work within. If you're still watching as we approach the 30-minute mark, thank you, I massively appreciate it. Consider hitting the like button if you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. I'm going to leave you guys with the last few matches in this set. I'm just going to let it run with some music for you guys, and I will catch you all next time.